Oh, boy. First report. A reporter in Boston. Patriots working a new contract with Jimmy G. I made calls. I couldn't get it confirmed. Second report. Patriots talked to the Atlanta Falcons. They have the number 4 pick about trading up. Now, Atlanta's trying to drive a hard bargain. Apparently, they didn't make a deal. My favorite line in this story, though, is making a trade up that big would be out of character for Bill Belichick, who's generally preferred trading down, acquiring additional draft picks, rather than mortgaging the future with a blockbuster trade up. It is funny, when Tom Brady leaves, New England's now doing a lot of things out of character, like losing seasons, spending a fortune on free agency, and now potentially mortgaging the future. Proving once again you can have the best coach in the world, the best owner arguably in the world, the best offensive coordinator, the best system, the best offensive line coach, and your star quarterback leaves and you're a big nothing burger and you're flailing. I mean, look at New Orleans. Last 4 years, 4 division titles, great GM, great coach, excellent owner. Fox Bet has the Patriots and the Saints at 9.5 wins. That's with an additional game. They're average. Would you be shocked in the next 4 or 5 years if the Saints puttered around and made the playoffs once? Would you be shocked if New England puttered around for the next 4 and 5 years and made the playoffs once? You can't be. So we got 2 New England narratives right now this morning in America. One story, they go Garoppolo. Proven, been there, knows the system, feels safe. Or you take a big swing. And you go and trade a bunch of picks, first rounders, for a Trey Lance. That would be my pick. Or Justin Fields. Both fine. The way I look at it, you got to go for it. This is a very, very unique year. We have 4 quarterbacks. I don't count Mac Jones ever being a first-round pick. We have 4 quarterbacks in any year could be the number 1 pick. Trevor Lawrence will be the number 1 pick. He doesn't exist. It's probably Zach Wilson, because he has the most arm talent, they say. Justin Fields was considered the number 2 pick several months ago, so you know he could go in some drafts as a number 1 pick. And Trey Lance, if we don't have a pandemic, and Trey Lance actually plays 12 games, well, Carson Wentz from his school went number 2. Why couldn't he go number 2 or number 1? So I don't think Mac Jones is a number 1 talent, but I think 4 guys could be. You're not going to have this again. I mean, usually we have 1 really good quarterback, maybe 2. We don't have 4. To me, New England's got to go for it. And what New England does, 2 reports today, Garoppolo, they're working on a deal, or Trey Lance, Justin Fields. What New England does tells you a lot about how Bill Belichick, almost 70, thinks. If you go Garoppolo, it means we won't stink. It's safe. He knows this system. But this is a dude that can't get out of September healthy. I mean, Justin Fields almost got torn in half in a college bowl game this year. He came back and played the second half. Garoppolo can't get out of September, and now we've added a game to the schedule. You think Garoppolo's going to last 17? Really? In the toughest division in football. All those teams are good. I mean, God, now Arizona's got J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones. And Seattle kept Dunlap. And, we all kind of know that, the Rams have Aaron Donald. And these are some of the best defensive players up front in the league. So what is New England? If you go Garoppolo, it's telling me they just are tired of being humiliated by Brady. They're tired of it. They just don't want to stink. You can make an argument. Defense, Belichick will be viable. But you don't have a Josh Allen. You don't have a Justin Herbert. You don't have a Patrick Mahomes. You don't have Lamar Jackson. Or you take the big swing. And that tells me Belichick's sticking around a while. Belichick is all in on a rebuild. Belichick's going to be patient. Belichick is not retiring soon and going golfing in Jupiter, Florida. What New England does will tell me a lot about where they're going. Because if you look around right now in the NFL, and I like Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm a much bigger fan of Garoppolo than almost all of you. He's the 14th best quarterback in the league, 15th, maybe 12th. But with all that injury stuff, nobody in their right mind thinks you're getting 3 years 17 games minimum per year with Jimmy Garoppolo, it's going to tell us about Belichick. How close is he to retirement? Does he want to rebuild? Does he want to nurture? Does he understand he can't win? Because you get Trey Lance, you're not going to play for a year, and it may be a little rocky in year 2. Same with Justin Fields. So I think New England's going to tell us a lot about Belichick's future, how all in, how committed to Super Bowls long term, because Garoppolo, who I like, feels really safe, but no reasonable person can think he's going to last 17 games minimum. Forget playoff games, 3 straight years. All right, so now with the draft, once an NFL season starts, I'll be honest, we talk about 8 to 12 teams. In college football, we talk about 5. I don't spend a lot of time talking crappy teams. But the NFL draft is different. Every year, for about 6 to 8 weeks before the draft, all sportscasters talk crappy football teams because they always have the best draft picks. So we're going to talk Jets and Jags, Cleveland. Philadelphia's a mess. They may move up. I mean, Cleveland, essentially, the last 20 years, the only time we talked about them was the draft. See how badly they'd screw it up. So I just want to talk about one really good football team for the next 3 minutes because I think their draft is fascinating, and that's the Green Bay Packers. So the Green Bay Packers are really good. They have a top 2-3 quarterback in the world, top 10 probably ever. The Green Bay Packers played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get to the Super Bowl, and it was close. In fact, when the game was over, we weren't talking about this team's way better than that team. We were talking about a coaching decision. So Green Bay was close to getting to the Super Bowl. The coaching decision is what we talked about. We didn't talk about, it wasn't like the Super Bowl where Kansas City was overwhelmed. It was that coaching decision. And Green Bay has 10 picks. So Green Bay's the only excellent team in the NFL tonight with 10 picks. Dallas has 10. They're not excellent. They got 10. They got 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s. I am a believer, and I've said this for years, I am a big believer in moving down in the draft. In fact, I think you can make arguments that if you never had a first-round pick, if you had your quarterback, if you had a good quarterback, don't worry about first-round picks. Have 2 seconds, 2 thirds. You can pay for your quarterback. But Green Bay's different. Green Bay's really good. Green Bay's got 10 picks, and they've got like 2.5 holes. They need a corner. We saw that against Tampa Bay right before half. They definitely need another receiver, although they've got a superstar 1 and very nice complementary pieces. But they need a dog. They need a 2. And they need a corner. And then I like their linebackers, but if one became available late first round, I'd go for it, and I'd take that. I don't think they necessarily have to move up in the first round because I do think they could solve their linebacker issue where they're at now. But when the first round's over, tonight's over, they're going to have 9 picks and 2 holes. Would anybody criticize them? Remember, last year, their first-round pick was a guy that wasn't going to play and ticked off Aaron Rodgers. I think they owe Aaron Rodgers and themselves hyper-aggressive actions probably after tonight. I do think they can land a really good linebacker, and they're not desperate at linebacker. Hell, they're not desperate at wide receiver or corner. But I think they can stay where they're at tonight and get a really nice linebacker. But by tomorrow, I'm giving up some of those picks to get a top corner and to get a top wide receiver. Because this is rare ground. This almost feels like New England for 20 years. They're good. They're playing in conference championships. They don't have a ton of holes, and they got 10, 11 picks. That's rare. That's a well-run organization. We're good. We don't have holes and a ton of picks. And by the way, Bill Belichick, more than anybody in the league since he took the job in New England, has moved on draft day. He's made 82 draft trades. Not always up, not always down, but Bill Belichick is hyperactive. Why? Got a good team, got a lot of picks. He knows what he wants. And he goes solves his 1 or 2 holes. I think Green Bay is really interesting. And I don't think they have to make a big hyper-aggressive move in round 1. But after that, they owe it to Aaron. They owe it to themselves. You need a corner and you need a receiver. Trade all your picks to get them. This team is too good. 10 picks. There's not 10 guys that can make this roster. Well, they lost their center to the Chargers. They have a guard they drafted a couple years ago, developed. He'll move over. They're fine. David Bakhtiari comes back left tackle. They could maybe take, an offensive lineman. It's not a need. It's a top 5 offensive line. Even losing their center to the Chargers, it's still a top 5 offensive line. So this is Patriots territory. Good, no holes, lot of picks. And New England moved up to get people. And I think Green, we all talk about crap leading up to the draft. I'm fascinated Monday what Green Bay looks like because I don't think they're that far away. Remember the Tampa Bay Buccaneer game? It was not a rout. It was one blown coverage before half and a tenuous coaching decision. Otherwise, they're in the Super Bowl. Otherwise, they're in, and they're facing a Kansas City team missing their left tackle. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.